The Senate will come to order. I ask everyone to please rise and recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Imam Dr. Mohammed El Bar of the Islamic Society of Bay Ridge in Brooklyn, New York, will deliver today's invocation.
Assalamu alaikum. I am Mohammed El Bar, Imam of Islamic Society of Bay Ridge, Brooklyn, New York. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يقول الله تعالى وقال ربكم ادعوني أستجب لكم. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Holy Quran in Forgiver Surah, call me and I will answer your prayer and I respond to you. O Allah, bless all those present and participating today. Bless all our communities. May God bless our communities. May God bless the people who live in the United States. God bless all you. God bless of America. Ameen. Ameen. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Reading of the journal.
In Senate, Monday, April 15, 2024, the Senate met pursuant to adjournment. The Journal of Sunday, April 14, 2024 was read and approved. On motion, the Senate adjourned.
Without objection, the journal stands approved as read. Presentations of petitions, messages from the Assembly. Secretary will read.
Senator May moves to discharge from the Committee on Housing, Construction, and Community Development, Assembly Bill number 5311, and substituted for the identical Senate Bill 1059, third reading count of 395.
So ordered. Messages from the Governor, reports of standing committees, reports of select committees, communications and reports from state officers, motions and resolutions.
Good
Senator
afternoon.
Jeanette.
Thank you, Madam President. Good afternoon. Can we please recognize Senator Harkin for an introduction before we begin?
Senator Harkin for an introduction.
Thank you very much, Madam President. I am truly honored to introduce one of the giants in the environmental justice movement who is here in the gallery with us today. Catherine Coleman Flowers, her work is among the best with seminal activists such as Rachel Carson, Wanda LaDuke, and Robert Bullard. She is currently the Vice Chair of the White House Environmental Justice Advisory Council. She, in 2020, was awarded as a MacArthur Genius Grant winner for her work on the failings of sanitary sewage infrastructure and, importantly, its impact on communities. And while this work began in rural Alabama, her work has discovered a disturbing national trend all over the United States. And therefore, because of the importance of her work, she sits on the boards of the National Resource Defense Council, the Center for Constitutional Rights, the American Geophysical Union, and the Climate Reality Project. And at the center of her work, she is the author of Waste, One Woman's Fight Against America's Dirty Secret, centered in rural Alabama about the failings of the communities to provide adequate infrastructure for sanitary waste. And then those communities find folks who could not afford to maintain those septic systems and then arrested them instead of going after the large corporate polluters. And from that work was born her passion for environmental justice work. I should also say she is a veteran of the Air Force and the Air National Guard. She's a member of the Biden Unity Task Force on Climate Change, the founding director for the Center for Rural Enterprise and Environmental Justice, and co-chair of the American Academy of Arts and Sciences Commission on Accelerating Climate Action. I ask, Madam President, that you welcome our guest and please extend her the privileges of this chamber.
To our guests, I welcome you on behalf of the Senate. We extend to you the privileges and courtesies of this House. Please rise and be recognized. Senator Gineris.
Now please recognize Senator Grenardis for some introductions.
Senator Gurnardis for an introduction.
Thank you, Madam President. It was so great when we kicked off the session this afternoon to have the invocation delivered by Imam Mohammed Elbar from the Bay Ridge Islamic Society, formerly in my district, but now in Senator Chu's district. And the reason it's so special is because this month, April, is Arab American Heritage Month. And I am incredibly proud that in my district, in the entire borough of Brooklyn, there is a large and vibrant and diverse Arab American community, particularly in Bay Ridge, but all across Brooklyn and all across the 26th district. You can feel the community's presence in beloved restaurants like Yemen Cafe and Nayat, thriving local businesses like Baladi's, Sahadi's, and Nabila Sweets, and active community organizations like the Al Noor Social Center, the Arab American Association of New York, and the Bay Ridge Community Development Center, and the Women's Empowerment Center of New York City. And we are joined today in the gallery by representatives of those organizations who have come here to the Senate today, not only to hear Dr. Elbar give the invocation, but also to pay tribute to Arab American Heritage Month. And so, as one of the groups I'm here to introduce, I'm so excited that they were able to make the trip up here to join us today. But of course, that's not all. We also have, wearing my other hat, as many of my colleagues here in the chamber know, I am a proud graduate of the City University of New York at Hunter College, and we have joining us today in the gallery a cohort of students from Hunter College who are all participating in the Eva Katzen Grove Fellowship Program at the Roosevelt House at Hunter College. The Roosevelt House is the Public Policy Institute at Hunter College. It is named after the literal house that Franklin Roosevelt lived in. It is the house where he drafted many of the elements of the New Deal. And these students here are participating in a semester-long intensive public policy fellowship where they are studying public policy problems and then ways to address them at both the city, state, and national level. They came up to Albany today to get a day in the life behind the curtains of what it means to be a policymaker, an elected policymaker. And I'm so excited they were able to make the trip up here today to see how their state government works. And so, Madam President, I kindly ask that you recognize both of my guests who have joined us here today and extend to them the privileges of the House.
To our guests, I welcome you on behalf of the Senate. We extend to you the privileges and courtesies of this House. Please all rise and be recognized. Senator Gineris.
Thank you, Madam President. Let's move on to previously adopted Resolution 2194 by Senator Walczyk. Read that resolution's title, and as we all know, Senator Walczyk is serving the nation right now, so we will ask Senator Steck to speak on that resolution.
Secretary will read.
Resolution 2194 by Senator Walczyk commended the Hammond High School girls varsity basketball team upon the occasion of capturing the New York State Public High School Athletic Association basketball Class D championship on March 17, 2024.
Senator Steck on the resolution.
Thank you, Madam President. Thank you all. It is an absolute pleasure for me to speak on behalf of my colleague, my friend, Senator Walczyk. Ladies, the team here, this is his seat. We get to sit next to each other, and I think I get to speak on this because our two gigantic districts touch each other. We share St. Lawrence County, so very familiar with Hammond and where you're all coming down from. Welcome to Albany. Madam President, the Hammond High School girls varsity basketball team captured the Class D championship, state championship on March 17th, defeating another 49th Senate District team from Northville. And for those of you that don't know, Northville and Hammond, you almost can't get there from here. It's a big district, but both of the state championship teams were from Mark's district. And the Hammond ladies, the Red Devils, they were triumphant 54-34. So it was a pretty convincing win. They had a fantastic season, 23-3. So we're thrilled to congratulate. Anytime we have student athletes come down here, it's just wonderful to recognize your achievement in this beautiful hall with all my colleagues. And if I could, I would just like to introduce the championship team of the Hammond High School girls varsity team: Shay Rosenbarker, Josephine Hodgkin, Michaelia Jones, Makia Green, Addison Webster, Rayleigh Downs, Jocelyn Bush, Isabel Woodcock, Mia Tully, Ava Howie, Addison Graveline, and Landry Kenyon. Manager Raylan Law, assistant coaches John Arquette and Katina Dillon, and head coach Alyssa Crosby. So again, wonderful achievement. Congratulations all. Finish the school year strong. Your student athletes, the student part comes first, but certainly, revel as you will and should in your championship season. Congratulations all on behalf of all of us, and especially our colleague, Senator Mark Walczak, who could not be here today. He is deployed in the Middle East, serving on behalf of all of us. But congratulations, ladies. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. To the Hammond High School girls team, I welcome you on behalf of the Senate. We extend to you the privileges and courtesies of this House. Please rise and be recognized. Senator Gineris.
Next up is previously adopted Resolution 1625 by Senator Thomas. Please read its title and recognize Senator Thomas.
Secretary will read.
Resolution 1625 by Senator Thomas, memorializing Governor Kathy Hochul to proclaim April 2024 as Sikh Awareness Month in the state of New York.
Senator Thomas on the resolution.
Thank you, Madam President. It is with great pride that I stand here today to introduce a resolution, again declaring April as Sikh Awareness Month here in the state of New York. This month provides an opportunity for all of us to honor and acknowledge the rich cultural heritage and profound contributions of the Sikh community to our state and our nation. Sikhism is a monotheistic religion that emerged more than 500 years ago in the Punjab region of India. Sikhs are distinguishable by their long beards and turbans, as you can see up in the chamber today. The founder of Sikhism, Guru Nanak, created a new faith based on the idea that all people are equal and interconnected. This remarkable journey of Sikh community is intertwined with the story of America. From the time of their arrival in the late 1800s, Sikh men and women have been making notable contributions to American society. Early immigrants settled in the western frontier, where they played a major role in building America's railroads. Sikh Americans served in the US military during the World Wars, and the first Asian American congressman was a Sikh American elected to office back in 1957. An estimated 500,000 Sikhs live in the US, with the largest communities here in the East Coast and out there in the West Coast. The Sikh community in New York is an integral part of our diverse population. They have contributed greatly to our state. We have successful business leaders, doctors, lawyers, professors, nurses, media personalities, and so on. They all have a commitment to social justice and community service. The teachings of the Sikh gurus and the valor of the Khalsa continue to inspire individuals worldwide to strive for a more equitable and compassionate society. That's why I'm so proud to welcome some friends and community leaders who are proud Sikhs. We are joined by Harpreet Singh Toor, Taj Pal Singh, and Harjeet Singh, and members of the community up in the gallery. Thank you all for being here. Even though the Sikh community has done so much to make New York better and this country better, Sikhs have also faced discrimination and hate crimes in our country. I stand in solidarity with our Sikh brothers and sisters to denounce hate and bigotry and work towards a more inclusive society. And as we celebrate Sikh Awareness Month, let us take the time to learn about the Sikh religion, their values, and its contributions to our society. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Stavisky on the resolution.
Thank you, Madam President, and thank you, Senator Thomas, for introducing this resolution. I have some constituents in the gallery, and I want to welcome you to Albany. You heard, to my colleagues, you heard the description that Senator Thomas provided. And to me, the aspect of social justice and equality is what it's about. I have visited the Sikh temple in Queens, several of them, but we also have an obligation on our part to provide the same opportunities for service that we provide everybody else. And they should be treated, and are being treated, I hope, with dignity and friendship. And we are delighted that you are here, And we look forward to everybody celebrating Sikh Awareness Month. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Adabo on the resolution.
Thank you very much, Madam President. Good afternoon, everybody, and I want to thank Senator Thomas for this resolution. We thank the Sikh community certainly for their cultural and for their what they bring to the community and benefits to our community. I witnessed the Sikh community grow in my district. Born and raised in Ozone Park, parts of Ozone Park, South Ozone Park, Richmond Hill, surrounding communities, I've witnessed over the years the Sikh community acclimate themselves into our communities, become part of our community boards, become heads of civics, become involved in our schools, in our classrooms as teachers and parents involved in our schools, and involved in our businesses, providing such a vibrant, diverse business in our community. We're thankful. And we join you in arm as we go forward into a brighter future for the Sikh community in our communities as we fight against discrimination and hatred and make sure that we do have a brighter future for our children as they also get acclimated into the community. Again, I thank Senator Thomas, and I proudly join in supporting this resolution. Thank you so much.
Senator Mayer on the resolution. No. Okay. To our guests, I welcome you on behalf of the Senate. We extend to you the privileges and courtesies of this House. Please rise and be recognized. The resolution was previously adopted on January 17th. Senator Gineris.
Now, previously adopted resolution 1717 by Senator May. Read that resolution's title and recognize Senator May.
Secretary will read.
Resolution 1717 by Senator May, commemorating the 100th anniversary of Syracuse University's Maxwell School of Citizenship and Public Affairs on October 3rd, 2024.
Senator May on the resolution.
Thank you, Madam President. I rise today to honor the 100th anniversary of the Maxwell School of Citizenship and Public Affairs at Syracuse University. And though I want to say some things about Maxwell's illustrious history, let me start by talking about its present. Just last week, U.S. News ranked Maxwell as the nation's #1 School of Public Affairs, as judged by deans, directors, and department chairs at hundreds of peer institutions. Not only is Maxwell #1 this year, it has held that distinction every year but one since the rankings began in 1995. While Maxwell is renowned for teaching future policymakers and government officials, the first word in its title is citizenship. When you visit Maxwell, you will see the Athenian Oath of Citizenship inscribed on the wall, which reads in part, "We will unceasingly seek to quicken the sense of public duty. We will revere and obey the city's laws. We will transmit the city not less, but greater, better, and more beautiful than it was transmitted to us." For 100 years now, the Maxwell School has pursued this vision. Named for George Maxwell, a Syracuse University alum and attorney, the school was initially founded to train students to be informed citizens in American democracy and provide professional training for future government officials and public servants. The Maxwell School was the first educational institution to offer a graduate degree in public administration, and its MPA program is the oldest continuously operating university-based MPA program in the country. President Herbert Hoover attended the dedication on September 3rd, 1924. Which is appropriate because even though he wasn't the best president ever, he was a gifted public administrator who oversaw transformative government reforms like standardizing weights and measures to facilitate trade and manufacturing. Over the past century, countless prominent public servants have come to Maxwell School as students, as faculty, and as visitors. I've had the opportunity to attend Maxwell dinners with the likes of Al Gore and Liz Cheney. And I also have the great good fortune to have two immensely talented and knowledgeable Maxwell grads on my staff. We are joined today by a number of representatives from the Maxwell School and Syracuse University, including Dean David Van Slyke, Assistant Dean Elizabeth Armstrong, Dan Nelson, Bethany Wallawender, Jennifer Cole, Court Ruddy, Sydney Johnson, and Maria Ferrara. I welcome all of you and thank you for the important work you do and the Maxwell School does to prepare young people for lives of public service and to expand our understanding of citizenship and government for the public good. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Savitsky on the resolution.
Yes, thank you, Madam President and Senator May. You prepared me for public service. I am a proud graduate of Syracuse, not the Maxwell School, but I took classes there. And I must tell you, to this day, I remember some of the professors, and I thank you for educating not just my generation, but the future generations. The hardest problem I had, one of the hard problems, was convincing the New York City Board of Education when I got my high school teaching license that citizenship was more than it appeared. My first class in citizenship was about, we read from Plato to to Marx and everybody in between. So I thank you and congratulate you as chair of the Committee on Higher Education in the Senate for doing such a good job. Thank you.
Thank you. To our guests, I welcome you on behalf of the Senate. We extend to you the privileges and courtesies of this House. Please rise and be recognized. The resolution was adopted on January 23rd. Senator Gineris.
Previously adopted resolution 2008 by Senator Sepulveda. Please read its title and recognize Senator Sepulveda.
The Secretary will read.
Resolution 2008 by Senator Sepulveda, memorializing Governor Kathy Hochul to proclaim April 2024 as Workplace Violence Prevention Month in the state of New York.
Senator Sepulveda on the resolution.
Thank you, Madam President, for allowing me to speak on this resolution. Today I stand before you to discuss a matter of utmost importance and urgency. I have with us today several doctors, emergency care doctors, healthcare providers with us today to discuss workplace safety. I'm here to advocate for the adoption of Senate Resolution 2008, which calls upon Governor Kathy Hochul to officially proclaim April 2024 as Workplace Violence Prevention Month in our great state of New York. Every day, hardworking New Yorkers contribute tirelessly to the strength and prosperity of our state. Yet, despite their dedication, many face the unacceptable risk of violence in the places of work. This is particularly true for our healthcare workers, who, according to federal data, are five times more likely to encounter violence on the job than their peers in other sectors. Designating April as Workplace Violence Prevention Month is not merely a symbolic act. It is a clarion call to action. It is an affirmation of our commitment to safeguarding the dignity and safety of every worker across all industries in New York. By adopting this resolution, we declare that violence in the workplace is intolerable and that we must stand united in an effort to foster environments where safety and respect are paramount. Let us join together to send a powerful message across the state. New Yorkers value the security and well-being of their workforce. Let us ensure that no worker ever has to fear for their safety while earning a living. I urge all of you, my distinguished colleagues, to support this resolution wholeheartedly. Let us make April a month of awareness, education, and advocacy against workplace violence. Let us honor our commitment to the hardworking men and women of New York by making our workplace safer for everyone. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. To our guests, I welcome you on behalf of the Senate. We extend to you the privileges and courtesies of this House. Please rise and be recognized. The resolution was adopted on March 26. Senator Janeris.
And now back to Senator May for previously adopted Resolution 2063. Please read that resolution's title and recognize Senator May.
Secretary will read.
Resolution 2063 by Senator May, memorializing Governor Kathy Hochul to proclaim April 2024 as Fair Housing Month in the state of New York.
Senator May on the resolution.
Thank you, Madam President. In the United States, unlike most of our peer nations, where you live has a huge impact on almost every aspect of your life. Your zip code is a strong predictor of how well-resourced and successful your public schools will be, whether you have robust public services, how safe your streets are, how healthy your air and water are, whether you have shady streets and well-maintained parks, how often you face traffic stops, parking tickets, or other fines, even how many potholes there are in your roads. For many of us, where we live is largely a matter of choice. But for much of American history, whole neighborhoods or even towns were off limits to people of color, to Jews or other religious groups, to certain people of certain national origins. In 1968, President Johnson signed the Fair Housing Act, which outlawed overt housing discrimination, and we celebrate that bold legislation with this resolution today. But we also have to renew our determination to work toward the promise of that act, because there is still a long way to go. In my city of Syracuse, as in many of our upstate cities, we have the sad distinction of being among the highest in the nation for child poverty and racial segregation, thanks to at least a century of discriminating housing practices. 2 children growing up just half a mile apart on either side of our city line might as well live in different countries. As we fight to address our housing crisis with safe, quality, affordable housing for all, I hope we can also be fulfilling the goal of the Fair Housing Act to reducing the extreme inequality by zip code that we still see today. I vote aye. Thank you. Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator May. The resolution was adopted on April 3rd. Senator Gianaris.
Thank you, Mr. President. We're going to now take up 2 resolutions simultaneously. Previously adopted Resolution 1520 and previously adopted Resolution 1544, both by Senator Prasad. Please read their titles and recognize Senator Prasad.
Secretary will read.
Resolution 1520 by Senator Prasad, memorializing Governor Kathy Hochul to proclaim April 2024 as Sexual Assault Awareness Month in the state of New York. Resolution 1544 by Senator Prasad, resolution memorializing Governor Kathy Hochul to proclaim April 2024 as Denim Day in the state of New York.
Senator Prasad on the resolutions.
Thank you, Mr. President. Sexual Assault Awareness Month was started in 2001 by the National Sexual Violence Resource Center to both raise awareness and help prevent sexual assault, harassment, and abuse. But the roots of the month can actually be traced way back. Sexual assault is a broad term and can encompass many things: rape, sexual harassment, sexual abuse, unwanted sexual contact, touching, sexual exploitation and trafficking, something that we've seen a rise in, exposing one's genital or marked body to another, and go on and on. But despite the progress we've made to combat sexual assault, there's still much to be done. Research has shown that most men and women across all sexual identities who experience contact sexual violence reported that the person who harmed them was someone they knew. It's not a stranger. Over 53% of women and 29% of men reported experiencing contact sexual violence. 1 in 5 male victims reported only male perpetrators. 1 in 2 had only female perpetrators, and it goes on and on. More than 1 in 4 non-Hispanic Black women in the United States were raped in their lifetime. Think of that staggering number. 1 in 3 Hispanic women reported unwanted sexual contact in their lifetime. More than 4 out of 5 American Indian or Alaskan Native women have experienced sexual violence in their lifetime. This is something that we must end. Sexual violence is unacceptable. As a body, we must continue to fight to ensure that no one suffers from sexual violence. And then on April 24th, there's something that's called Denim Day. We recognize Denim Day. Denim Day is a campaign in honor of Sexual Assault Awareness Month. The campaign began after a ruling by an Italian Supreme Court, and we can tell, you know, the court was made up of, I wouldn't say what gender. The campaign began by the ruling by the Italian Supreme Court, where a rape conviction was overturned because the justices felt that since the victim was wearing tight jeans, she must have consented because the person who raped her couldn't have taken off her pants by himself. They would not have been able to remove it. That's what the court said. The following day, the women in the Italian parliament came to work wearing jeans in solidarity with the victim. Peace Over Violence developed the Denim Day campaign in response to this case and activism surrounding it. Since then, what started as a local campaign to bring awareness to victim blaming and destructive myths that surround sexual violence have grown into a movement. Denim Day asks community members, elected officials, businesses, and students to make a social statement with their fashion statement by wearing jeans on this day. So I ask all of you, wear jeans next Wednesday in solidarity with people who have been raped. The reality is this: due to the inequities in our criminal justice system, myths that continue to pervade our society, and the sheer rate of what sexual assault that still occurs, there are millions of people in the position across this country and across the world right now. Millions of women, millions of people in general, who have been raped, sexually assaulted, and no one believes them because of the way they were dressed, because of the way they looked, because of the way they spoke. Someone says, oh, because they were flirting, so they encouraged it. I want to remind us all, everyone has a right to dress the way they want to dress. Everyone has a right to behave in the way they see fit without someone taking advantage of them. So again, I encourage my colleagues, stand in solidarity with those who were raped because someone else thought they should not have dressed or looked a certain way. Mr. President, thank you, and I vote aye.
Thank you, Senator Prasad. Senator Fernandez on the resolutions.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you, Senator Prasad, for introducing this resolution. Across New York State, sexual assault is an unwanted reality in too many lives, inflicting deep psychological and physical wounds on survivors in every community, our neighbors, our friends, our colleagues, and as members of our families. Acknowledging April as Sexual Assault Awareness Month expresses our active commitment to recognize the experiences of survivors, to ensure that they are seen and heard, and that they are not alone. It's a testament to our shared values that where we not only listen, but also validate and honor the strength of survivors. This month is also a call to confront some uncomfortable truths. Over half of women and a third of men in our country have faced sexual violence, with these incidents disproportionately impacting people of color. These aren't just statistics, they represent the loss of safety and peace of mind for survivors who frequently battle anxiety, trauma, depression, and PTSD. We must acknowledge the need for accountability, for bringing perpetrators to justice, and the need to strengthen our legal framework so that survivors are able to seek justice unobstructed by doubt or dismissal. I'm proud of this body for its numerous bills that we've introduced to help survivors and children survivors, including my bill that would fix the voluntary intoxication exclusion to include cases where the victim is voluntarily intoxicated and unable to provide consent under the definition of sexual assault, and including other pieces of legislation that would allow evidence of testimony of a victim's outcry and disclosures in cases of sexual abuse regardless of when the disclosure was made. We must listen, and then we must act. When a survivor reaches out, we must be ready to hear them and respond with the support and resources to aid in their healing and their pursuit of justice. And we vow to redouble on preventative efforts to create an environment where fear of assault, abuse, and harassment is erased from the daily fabric of our lives. Let this resolution be a catalyst for real change. In standing with survivors, we help move our state forward to a future free from sexual assault. I thank the leader for bringing this resolution to the floor, to my colleague for introducing this resolution, and to the brave advocates and the survivors who are here today for their work and for their bravery. I proudly vote aye.
Thank you, Senator Fernandez. The resolution was adopted on January 9th. Senator Gianaris.
The request of the various sponsors is all the resolutions we took up today are open for co-sponsorship.
The resolutions are open for co-sponsorship. Should you choose not to be a co-sponsor, please notify the desk. Senator Gianaris.
Now can I move to adopt the resolution calendar?
All those in favor of adopting the resolution calendar, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The resolution calendar is adopted. Senator Gianaris.
I also have a motion here on behalf of Senator Harkam. On page 39, I offer the following amendments to Calendar 726, Senate Bill 2994A, and ask that said bill retain its place on the third reading calendar.
The amendments are received and the bill will retain its place on the third reading calendar. Senator Gianaris.
Please take up the calendar this time.
Secretary will read.
Calendar number 90, Senate Print 450 by Senator Gianaris, an act to amend the insurance law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect on the 1st of January.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Gianaris, Kruger, Ort, Stewart Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
Ayes 59.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 130, Senate Print 2103B by Senator Harkam, an act to amend the environmental conservation law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect on the 90th day after it shall become a law.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Gianaris, Kruger, Ort, Stewart Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
Ayes 59.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 359, Senate Print 682 by Senator Comrie, an act to amend the general business law.
The bill will be laid aside for today.
Calendar number 395, Assembly number 5311 by Assemblymember Zabrowski, an act to amend the executive law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect on the 60th day after it shall become a law.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Gianaris, Kruger, Ort, Stewart Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
Ayes 59.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 439, Senate Print 6651 by Senator Ramos, an act to amend the workers' compensation law.
Read the last section.
Section 3, this act shall take effect on the 30th day after it shall become a law.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Gianaris, Kruger, Ort, Stewart Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
In relation to calendar 439, those senators voted in the negative are Senators Lanza and Ort, ayes 57, nays 2.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 449, Senate Print 2995 by Senator Harkam, an act to amend the public health law.
Read the last section.
Section 3, this act shall take effect on the 120th day after it shall become a law.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Gianaris, Kruger, Ort, Stewart Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
Ayes 59.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 474, Senate Print 688 by Senator May, an act to amend the executive law.
The bill will be laid aside for today.
Calendar number 494, Senate Print 4644 by Senator Kennedy, an act to amend the executive law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Gianaris, Kruger, Ort, Stewart Cousins, White.
Senator Rhodes to explain his vote.
Thank you, Madam President. I want to thank Senator Kennedy for introducing the bill. I'm voting in the negative, however, because of the obligations or misplaced obligations that this places on municipalities in areas like in my district, which are serviced by private water companies. By placing the obligations on municipalities, particularly in circumstances where our own fire departments, for example, have to pay upwards of $800, $900, up to $1,000 per hydrant to a private water utility. It's the private water utility that should have to bear the cost of actually inspecting and testing these hydrants. For that reason, I'm voting in the negative, though I very much support the concept of annual testing, especially as a volunteer firefighter myself for the last 31 years. Very much support the concept of this annual testing to ensure that our hydrants are in working fashion when we need them. Thank you, Madam President.
Senator Rhodes to be recorded in the negative. Announce the results.
In relation to calendar 494, those senators voted in the negative are Senators Martins, O'Mara, Rhodes, and White. Ayes 55, nays 4.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 652, Senate Print 6162 by Senator May, enact to amend the executive law.
Laid aside.
Calendar number 668, Senate Print 1811 by Senator Dabo, enact to amend the general business law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect on the 60th day it shall become a law.
Call the roll.
Dabo, Giannaris Kruger, Ort, Stewart Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
Ayes 59.
The bill is passed. Senator Janeris, that completes the reading of today's calendar.
Let's move on to the controversial calendar, please.
The secretary will ring the bell. The secretary will read.
Calendar number 652, Senate Print 6162 by Senator May, enact to amend the executive law.
Senator Obaraka, why do you rise?
Yes, thank you, Madam President. I was wondering if the bill sponsor would yield for a couple of questions.
Senator May, do you yield?
I do.
The sponsor yields.
Thank you. Through you, Madam President. Senator, thank you. As someone who has this affliction of colorblindness, I was wondering, has there been any thought, or would there be any thought, to adding the ability to wear glasses that not only help, it doesn't cure, but it helps enhance the ability to perceive and look at color, thereby not so much eliminating, but helping to potentially allow those that suffer from color blindness to be cleared for service. Is there any thought to that process?
Through you, Madam President, thank you for that question. I'm glad to know that you support what's in here and just want more. That's always nice to know. The idea here is that the testing for color blindness is so blunt at this point that it just eliminates everybody who's got any kind of color blindness, whereas there are quite a few gradations of color blindness that shouldn't be disqualifying for a career in law enforcement. We want people to be able to see, to tell a green light from a red light, for example. That would be important, but in some other cases, it's not that crucial that they tell, teal from a different shade of blue or something like that. So this simply would allow them to once you had been screened out by that blunt test, to take a more nuanced test that would allow them to qualify potentially if they had a kind of color blindness that was lesser in nature or shouldn't be disqualifying. I don't see any reason why you couldn't have a corrective option as well, but that wasn't envisioned in our bill.
Thank you for that, Senator. Madam President, on the bill.
Senator Obaraka on the bill.
I know this comes as a shock that I only asked one question, but I think Senator answered it in the affirmative. As one who says, again, I'm colorblind. I have the red-green color blindness. That is, I only perceive it in gray. There may be a time that you've seen me walk these halls and wonder, with my fashion sense, if there may have been an issue, and I can honestly say that if you have seen me in that condition, two things probably did happen. My wife was out of town, and/or my chief of staff, both of which keep me well in the fashion sense, so to speak. I think this is actually a great bill. I am in support of it. I think it's long been kind of almost misunderstood and not looked upon, those of us that have this affliction. So again, Madam President, if anyone sees me looking a little disheveled, please reach out. I will not take offense, and for that, I will be voting in the affirmative. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other senators wishing to be heard? Seeing and hearing none, the debate is closed. Senator Janeris.
We've agreed to restore this bill to the non-controversial calendar.
The bill is restored to the non-controversial calendar. Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Dabo, Giannaris Kruger, Ort, Stewart Cousins, White.
Senator May to explain her vote.
Thank you, Madam President. Mostly, I want to thank Liam Vitkus, who is here in the gallery, who was my session assistant last year, and this bill was his idea. As someone who has colorblindness himself and had dreamed of a career in law enforcement and then discovered that it would be impossible because of his colorblindness. So it was wonderful that he came up with a solution and brought it to us and got the major law enforcement associations in the state to endorse this bill, and brought it all the way we got it all the way to pass the floor last year, and I'm thrilled that he's able to come to be here today and see us do it again. And this time, we'll do what we can, Liam, to get it through the Assembly. Thank you so much for your hard work, and I vote aye.
Senator May to be recorded in the affirmative. Announce the results.
In relation to calendar 652, voted in the negative, Senator Brisport, ayes 58, nays 1.
The bill is passed. Senator Gineris, that completes the reading of the calendar.
Is there any further business at the desk?
There is no further business at the desk.
Let me remind majority colleagues, we are returning back to conference immediately upon conclusion of session. And I move to adjourn until tomorrow, Wednesday, April 17th at 11 a.m.
On motion, the Senate stands adjourned until Wednesday, April 17th at 11 a.m.